welcome to offensive, where everyone wears X-ray glasses like they did back in the '60s. You know, back when back when football players knew how to play football, block, catch, pass. The NFL looks like a big mess right now. Like half the teams look like I mean, a lot of it might be injuries and stuff, but like people always say, you know, the quarterback plays at an all-time low, offensive line plays at an all-time low, and you know, there's scandals everywhere across sports. Who knows what the refs are up to right now? But also makes it super exciting. Who is going to win these games? Sometimes we have no freaking clue at all. There's like no way to predict them. So we're going to talk about some of the games. Let's just jump right into it, Neckbeard.
All right, I'll bring them up. Let's go to week 8. Let's put this up here. Week 8. All right, so first things first.
Stinko.
Yeah, Ocho Cinco officially changed his name.
Ocho Cinco.
So it is by Mageddon. So just so you guys know, it's one of the weeks where there's, you know, friggin' 6 teams on a bye. So all your dynasty friends that are complaining, suck it up. Okay, Minnesota trashed at home by the Chargers. Herbert has a good night. Gadsden, their rookie tight end, has a great night. Vidal, their third string running back, has a great night. McConkey had a good night. Keenan Allen had a good night. The Vikings defense was terrible. It was terrible. And Doug switched now we're in the middle. Okay, now it's fine. We're in the middle now.
It's better for the video.
Yeah. So the Vikings defense was terrible. And Carson Wentz lost an arm and a leg and an elbow and an ankle and a wrist in that game. He just could not play at all. And the Vikings just look like straight trash. Are we worried about the Vikings anymore, guys? Do you think the Vikings are actually a good team? Was this a one-off, or is this more of things to come?
They'll have a couple games where they play well because they do have a good team. They have a very high-priced team and stuff that can play well when people are healthy and they care. But they also look like the circus right now. The ball just they can't like their quarterbacks can't even throw. It just looks completely terrible. Paul Farrington was nearly crying on his show. Usually he's positive, and even if they're not doing well, he's just like, all right, you know. But like he was ready to like quit his show the other night. It was really bad.
Well, at halftime, I was begging the question, why don't they try throwing in their backup? Because Wentz doesn't have it. He's too hurt.
Yeah.
He almost busted his thumb, and then his left arm was just killing him. It's just like your offense isn't doing anything. Why not try inject anything to get some life? Because your defense, you know, they're out there busting their tails. And, you know, when you see the quarterback is just going to do a 3-and-out, it's deflating. So, yeah, it's no wonder why exhausted. Justin Herbert had an amazing day.
Well, and their defense has been figured out. Like I was saying last week in the Eagles game, you throw deep against this defense because the safeties are the problem and their cornerbacks are okay, not great. And yeah, the Chargers attacked them all game downfield, down the middle. Rondé Gadsden had a bunch. You know, they were going to Ladd McConkey, a couple deep throws. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Vikings defense may have been figured out. If you can keep them from getting to your quarterback, because, you know, they still have a good pass rush. They still blitz a decent amount. But you got to attack them deep. You got to stretch out the field. And it's worked 2 weeks in a row pretty well, to be honest, you know. And the Eagles and the Chargers are good offenses. They are good offenses, but I wouldn't say they're great. The Eagles have not been great all year on offense, and the Chargers are missing, you know, their 2 starting running backs, their tackle. They've been struggling all year on offense, and both of them kind of went in there to Minnesota and took it to them, right? So, yeah, I think the Vikings fans should be worried. I think Paul should be worried. I don't think it gets much better. But I do think they're obviously going to win a couple more games. It's not like they're terrible. They're just not. No. They're not the same team they were last year. That's just what it comes down to.
One thing that I like that the Chargers did, though, is after, you know, they had playing without both of their tackles, and then they tried to put the focus on Cuge and whatnot, and they kind of forgot about Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is a great guy for moving the chains, and so they started to go back to him last week, and that's what brought them back into the game. That's what won them the game, as a pass to Ladd and just hyper feeding him, as opposed to Cuge, because Cuge is good for big plays, but Ladd moves the chains. It gives your defense a breather, so that way, even if some of the guys are out, and once you got Joe Alt back in, you know, Ladd was very dominant with the tight end last night. So I think now that they kind of went back to that for the formula, less on Keenan Allen and whatnot. I love Keenan and whatnot. Sorry what we did to you last year in Chicago, wasted a year of your career. But I think they're kind of figuring out the formula so that their offense can come back up to what it is, because Herbert looked amazing again.
He did. He looked really good last night. And, we'll see how the Vikings season go. We'll see how the Chargers go. I still think the Chargers are a good team, even though they've been struggling. So I'm not surprised they won. I guess I was just a little surprised it was that easy, because it was easy. Like they didn't struggle to do anything they wanted to do in that game. So, all right, moving on. We've got the Mikey Flavors Bowl. Mike McDaniel, I hope you keep your job this week. No promises, everybody. Because the Vikings are trash. The Jets are trash. Woody Johnson loves his quarterback, thinks he's a future Hall of Famer. No, talked massive trash about his quarterback, which is hilarious. But the Bengals should run away with that game. So these are two games that we see as blowouts. Maybe there's something to talk about for Miami, but we just don't really see it. Kind of boring. We're going to get to the Bears-Ravens during Packer Bear Talk. And then Browns-Patriots seems like a very, Mike Vrabel kind of game, low scoring. Somebody will probably win at the end, but we think the Patriots are good there. So let's talk about an interesting game, because I think those morning games aren't as interesting. The Giants at the Eagles. Now, the Giants almost made me look like a genius, because I said they were going to go into Denver and steal a game, and they were smoking the Broncos for 48, 50 minutes, or, of that 60-minute game. This is like 55 minutes. And that last 5 minutes was just absolutely brutal for the Giants. So Daboll may have sealed his fate there eventually, not right now. But I don't know. Do we think the Giants have a chance against the Eagles? Doug, we'll start with you. Do you think the Giants have a chance to win this game?
Yeah, I think they do. But this kind of thing is like when you get later in the season, like teams like the Eagles will decide to like get all their act together and start playing like Super Bowl champions. So I don't know if if that's going to happen this year. But the Eagles have a chance to do it right now, to shut up the Giants and everybody and say like, hey, we're actually a pretty decent team. We've got our downfield passing games getting going again. If they can do that, if they can get those receivers going downfield, I think that can jumpstart them back into being like a really good team. The Giants, they obviously demonstrated they couldn't really hold down the Broncos, the Broncos have okay receivers, but nothing like super great. And, they kind of let the Broncos come back on them. So I think the Eagles have a chance here, but just for me, I think that the Giants still have this like underdog thing in them where they're just going to play wild and free. And if they're smart and they can limit those downfield passing plays by the Eagles might be in big trouble.
And no A.J. Brown this week, guys.
A.J. Brown's out.
Yep.
Yeah, last week I asked the question, is the other one going to surpass A.J. Brown as being the alpha? Both of you said no, A.J.'s just the bigger, better. I think this will be an interesting week. I think he can still be, if Hurts only has one option, he can hyper target him. And Devontae Smith is a stud.
He is.
He's fast. He's a fantastic route runner. He's very quick, twitchy. He can get open real fast. So
he catches everything. He's deceptively quick. I wouldn't say straight line speed, but again, he has the quickness that you want from a wide receiver, right? Like quick is better than fast.
He's got good deep speed too. You can just throw bombs to him.
Well, he's not super fast, but like his skill set is getting open. Like when he's covered, he's open. Do you know what I mean?
Right. He's a technician. He'll catch it. Yeah. He just needs a little window, and he can get it for you.
He's a 4.48 guy, but I feel his field speed's he's very fast. So like if he's running a post on you, or like a out and up or something, his quickness can just
right. Yeah, he's. I think like he feels like if I had to compare him to anybody, and I'm not saying he's this level, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of how Jerry Rice played, where he just was efficient to a T. And he wasn't the fastest guy on the field, but he somehow found a way to run by you. Do you know what I mean? Like you were faster than him, but he was faster at football than you were, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just kind of how Jerry operated. He was just so clean.
People are different when they put pads on and have a
and I think Devonta Smith just has that cleanness to his game. It's just almost natural, and he is really good. And I'm excited to see him be a number one. And I'm not saying I don't think he can eventually be better than A.J. Brown. I just think right now A.J. Brown is still a top 5 NFL wide receiver. And Devonta's he could be that. We just need to see more of it. So
last year, A.J. Brown was the number one receiver according to PFF, even though they kind of or whatever. But like I'm just saying that like if you look at analytics, A.J. Brown was like overall the best receiver in the league last year.
Yeah, A.J. Brown is basically unguardable with a good quarterback. But I don't know if Devonta's there yet, but he's close. I'd say he's close to that. So,
And then on the other side of the ball, I really like the chances that the Giants have, just because Wan'Dale Robinson, he's looked pretty good. Slayton's actually going to be back this week. So, and the weak spot for the Eagles has been their number 2 cornerback. Their number 1 quarterback is great, fantastic, but I think it was the average, the expected yardage that you're going to get if you throw against your number 1 wide receiver or number 1 cornerback is -1 yards, because he just shuts it down. When you try throwing to the other side of the field, it's 18 yards per attempt.
wait, are we saying is that the white boy that they're picking on over there?
I think that they keep him in the slot and he just does safety.
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
fine.
cover.
That's
He doesn't cover the outside.
Because I was saying, Quinion Mitchell's QB1. He's obviously very good.
Quinion Mitchell is fantastic.
So they got Cooper playing the nickel and like safety. Okay, so who's their number 2 guy? Who's their number 2 quarterback?
Oh goodness,
Now I need to know, Dave, because you said he's terrible. So
he is. The analytics were awful. I've been deep about for the last 8 hours, and
right now they have is it Ringo?
Okay, so it's Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, Adoree Jackson. That's it.
Adoree Jackson from the Titans, I believe he was for a while, right? Does that sound right? Yeah, Adoree Jackson. So yeah, Quinion Mitchell, Adoree Jackson. Yeah, where the heck is Cooper Kupp
And
playing?
Ringo was one of those where even when he played at Georgia, they hyped him a lot. I remember watching him against Ohio State in the playoffs, but he always got burned in college, and he's one of those where he's an athlete, but he just can't play the position. So, yeah.
Do you think the Giants
they're solid at the top? All of their talents right at the top,
out,
but they just don't quite have the depth.
Adoree Jackson's listed as not even playing. Ringo is going to be the starter, it looks like. Maybe.
So that might be why.
And that's why I can just go after Ringo, because he got burned a lot in college. He gets burned a lot in the pros.
Sorry, Adoree, we didn't know you were hurt. We didn't mean to talk crap.
And the way that the Eagles got over it last year is because they were able to get the pass rush. Right. Now this year they're not getting any of the pass rush off of the edge. That's why they had to have the old man come out of retirement, Graham. So maybe if they're able to get a little bit of pressure. What's that?
He's out too. There's a lot of people hurt on Philadelphia.
So we think the Giants are going to win. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
We think Vegas says 7.5 points for Philly at home.
Wow.
I think Philly's going to win.
But I would definitely take the under on that one. I think they have a chance.
It's at home. It's a division game. I know the Giants are tough this year and scrappy and exciting to watch.
Derek, bring the mic closer to you.
Oh yeah, sorry. They also don't have any wide receivers. Like the Giants don't. I mean, with Neighbors out, I worry about Jackson Dart against this defense now after that. Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. After that Broncos game, because the Giants, even when they lost, were riding on this like emotional high of like, we can do whatever we want, right? And I think after a loss like that, I really need to see what the character of this team is. Like if they come out and they lay an egg and they just get steamrolled by the Eagles, that might be it for the Giants this year as far as like their potential of how good we think they can be. But if they come out and they fight the Eagles and they almost win, or they find a way to win this game, then like the Giants are trouble for everybody in the NFL, right? So that's why this game to me is interesting. Do the Giants have the stuff to go into Philadelphia, which is a very hard place to play, and play like they've been playing all year? I'm not saying win or lose. I'm just saying like make it an absolute fight and punch them in the face until you can't get up again? Or is that game in Denver going to mess with their psyche a little bit, and is it going to curtail?
I think it's the opposite of that. I think they can have the ability to play up to the Eagles and beat them up even because they're in their division and that's their like big guy. But like outside the division, I'm not sold on them quite yet. You know what I mean? I feel like the Giants could play their division games really well and then like place like the Packers either really great or terrible. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Because like they're not up for those games. They don't have that emotional push.
I think they're young and dumb. So they can forget about what happened last week. They can forget about the fourth quarter because the offense still looked good. They, Jackson got them questionable PI call, but still got the touchdown. And they didn't have Darius Slayton the last time that they played Philadelphia. All they really had is Wan'Dale Robinson because their other receivers are nothing. Right. Like you said, with the big man hurt. So I think having Darius Slayton, it's going to give them enough of a balance. I think it's going to be a close game. I think they have a shot. I think it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes. This time they come out on top.
I want this to be a good game. There's no reason it shouldn't be a good game. It's a division game, so I want the Giants to keep this close. Hell, I want the Giants to win this game. Who am I kidding? I definitely want them to beat the Eagles. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to another game. San Francisco, Houston. Now, this seems like an easy San Francisco win, but it's in Houston. Houston defense is really good. Houston's defense scored as many points as their offense against Seattle, basically. So, like, in the San Francisco's defense is so good. Go ahead.
What does Vegas know?
Oh, do they got Houston as the favorites here?
2.5 right now.
Okay, so half a point because it's 3 at home, but still.
Nico Collins is out with a concussion.
Yeah.
The offensive line is garbage. The offense can't do anything. And yet, what the hell does Vegas know? Because, Christian McCaffrey is there, Kittle's there, even without Brock Purdy, that spread makes absolutely no sense. So what are we missing? It seems like it should be San Francisco.
Well, maybe Mac Jones is going to go back into pumpkin mode because he did not look good last week. They rode Christian McCaffrey in that game.
Are they
they
assuming Texans have defense is just that good?
It's pretty good.
He's been off this year. He hasn't been as good as he's been in previous years.
Yeah, I mean,
he's their number one corner, so.
Yeah, but they're also attacking Houston differently now. Like, I feel like, Houston's had a pretty tough schedule too, but their defense has been consistently good, not great.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, but they have great players. Maybe they just think, Mac Jones is going to have a 3 turnover game. I mean, it feels like he's due for one.
Their defensive line has really high PFF grades
because they're really good.
Yeah,
they might have
like all pros at every level.
Yes, like them. I think we talked about it. Them, Cleveland, and the Rams. Their defensive lines are just unbelievable. Throw Seattle in there. Maybe the Packers. Nah, not really. With Micah, perhaps.
And
but
I think this is DeMeco Ryans' first game against the Niners as a head coach. Because remember, he came from there. He learned from Saleh.
That's what it is, Dave. It's because he was a 49ers defensive coordinator. He knows Shanahan's offense, right?
And he learned from under Saleh, so that's where it's interesting to just see him play against the brain. But
I think because Mac Jones is in, maybe Shanahan doesn't do some crazy stuff that he might do to mess with him, if he had Purdy in there or something. So maybe that's why Vegas thinks it's 2.5 because of that connection. That's a good call. I think that is a good call. This could be an interesting game.
Is CJ Stroud officially a bad quarterback now, or
yes.
What's the deal?
Well, okay, bad is a tough word. CJ Stroud after year 1 was the most overrated football player in the NFL. And then after year 2, he kind of came back down to earth.
He was still rated pretty much the same though, year 2.
And then year 3, and again, not having a good offensive line can really hurt a quarterback. But what did I say last time? Really bad offensive line play can be affected by the quarterback and who they are, the decisions they make, how quickly they get the ball out, how the defense is either on the back of their heels or on the front of their tiptoes based on the quarterback. And I don't think he's done enough to help this offensive line. And I'm not saying there's a lot you can do, but I watched him in the game against Seattle, and he was not doing himself any favors. So, I don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I just think after year 1, people were like, oh, this guy's league MVP potential. And I think that was way too hot of a take. I think he's a mid-level quarterback. He's not bad. He's not great. And he just needs weapons and talent around him to succeed. And unfortunately for the Texans, they don't have a lot of that right now. So
because Nico's out with a concussion, and also sounds like Christian Kirk is going to be out as well.
Yep. And they've got really no running game and no offensive line. So what can you do?
That's what they're going to have to do with the but that's where I think they really have an opportunity. They have the 2 rookie wide receivers that they drafted out of Iowa State. And I know, Chris, I'm going to do a call out to him from our league because he really loved the first wideout that they drafted. He thought that he was going to be Nico 2.0. And of course, if you know the guy in our league, he's never wrong. I appreciate that about him. Confidence is a beautiful thing. But I really like Noel there. He is the guy who is going to replace Christian Kirk because those are the routes that he ran in college, or it's just a quick slant, quick up the seam from the slot. And I think if you don't have any time with the offensive line, I think he might have a decent day. So he'd be my favorite target from, just fantasy.
All right. So Dave, do you think
Vegas,
Vegas
in the wing and a prayer?
Do you think the Texans win this game? Do you agree with Vegas?
I do not. I think San
Me
Francisco wins the game, but he's the
Yeah.
only person that I'd really want to try. That I'd really want to try if I was going to do anyone on fantasy for Houston.
As much as I like the Texans defense, the San Francisco's defense has been great. So I think the disparity in the offensive talent on San Francisco's side versus Houston's side is going to win the day. I think the disparity on offenses is way different, way bigger than the disparity on defenses. So, but it is in Houston. Crazy things can happen. And Mac Jones can have a 3 turnover game because, like I said, he's probably due for one. So we'll see. Hype, what do you think? Who's going to win this game?
Yeah, the 49ers defense might even be better than the Texans defense, like statistically. So let's just say that's sort of a toss-up-ish. Like the Texans offense is either really, really on and chugging along, but that's like 10% of the time, and 9% of the time they're just complete disaster. So like there's no way anyone should ever bet on the Texans ever. You just shouldn't.
Yeah, they are a really hard team to figure out this year. Like who's going to show up? So, all right. So do you think San Francisco is going to win too? We're all saying San Francisco in that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to the next game, which I think is the most interesting game of this early set of games, right? Because Buffalo at Carolina seems like Buffalo should go in there and mop the floor with them, but Buffalo can't stop the run. And Carolina's proved that they can run the ball pretty effectively. Carolina's defense has made some strides to where they're not great, but they've actually been decent. It's in Carolina. What's the
Bills' rush defense is trash.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And the Panthers have 2 good running backs. So this could be another dangerous game, just like the Atlanta game was for the Bills, right? So I'm not saying I'm going to pick Carolina, but I think the Bills got to put up 30 plus to win this game. I really do. I think they got to put up 30 points. And if Carolina can control the clock and keep it to like a 24-27 or 24-21 kind of game, I think that's absolutely in their favor. So if the Panthers,
do you know a fun stat? Once you mention those points,
the
Bills are looking to avoid scoring 20 points or fewer in 3 straight games for the first time since 2020.
I'm saying there's something off with the Bills right now. And I think a big part of that is because they can't stop the run, other teams just eat up clock and they keep Josh Allen on the bench. That's how you beat the Bills, and everybody knows it. They just weren't able to do it in the past. Now they can do it, right? So that's the biggest thing is why they're not scoring points, I think, is because other teams are just like holding on to the ball for dear life, and that is a good strategy. So I think Carolina's the thing.
The Red Rocket is going to beat Josh Allen?
No, absolutely not. I forgot that.
Andy Dalton?
No, the Red Rocket's going to get absolutely destroyed. Bills by 10.
No,
but Carolina still runs the ball very effectively, I hope. I thought Bryce Young was coming back. Is he out? Did he get a concussion? What's his deal?
Yeah, it sounds like Andy Dalton's going to be starting for the game. So
what
do you think, Hype?
That ruins it.
Does rushing win the game?
Starting?
Well, it says he's doubtful. So I thought he was going to play, but he's doubtful. If he can't play, it's Dalton. Okay, if Andy Dalton plays, Bills by 10. If Bryce Young plays, Bills by 3. So give him a touchdown difference. That's what I'm saying.
I think this is the game the Bills get back on track. They gotta get back on track for somebody. So I think the Bills win this game.
They're coming off the bye. You think they're going to be angry?
Yeah, they better be.
I don't know, but the Bills just need to figure something out because otherwise them and the Ravens could just be toast.
Yeah.
Well, they just lost 2 straight right before the bye, right? So.
Well, we called that Atlanta game, right? We knew that was trouble for them. So, and then they lost to a division team in the Patriots, who are better than we all thought, right? Division games are wonky. Losing a division game is not a big deal. It kind of looked
bad in that game. I mean, it just looked bad.
The Bills should win this game by 2 scores, even with their bad rush defense. Josh Allen in this offense should be able to handle Carolina's defense, I feel like. So the Bills should win by 2 scores, especially if Andy Dalton is playing. If it's a really close game, I think, and again, I'm a Panthers guy. I said the Panthers were my sleeper team, my secret team to make the playoffs, right? If the Panthers win this game, I think I'll be more worried for the Bills than excited for the Panthers, because this is the type of game the Bills have to go win after the bye, just like you said, Dave. After not scoring 20 points 2 weeks in a row, they got to right the ship. And if they don't right the ship this game, it's only going to get worse. So, okay, But Buccaneers beat the Saints, right? But we think this is close. It's a division game. It's in New Orleans. I mean, the Buccaneers look like trash against the Lions. Is that a one-off, or is that something to worry about with all the injuries, Dave?
That's just a one-off.
You think it's a
Realistically,
one-off?
the coaching on the lines is fantastic. It comes from the head coach, his coordinators. They show that they know what they're doing. They were internal. They all are biting kneecaps and whatnot out there. So, tip of the hat to the head coach. He's amazing. I think it's just it's not even going to be close here, even though it's a division game with backup wide receivers. Tez Johnson, he's, I think, 5'8", 143. When he went to the NFL Combine, they thought, you're a short little guy, so you should be fast, and he ran like a 4.5 something. They're like, that's way too slow for somebody your height.
Yeah.
He thought he thought he had to put on 15 pounds to make it look better. So now he admitted that, no, I'm back in the 140s for the weight. So it isn't going to last long, but the Bucs only need him to last a couple of weeks until they can get Godwin back. So Otten, he's going to blow up. He's going to be a beast. Not much to see here.
Okay. Hype, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Bucs defense isn't very good. I know they probably have injuries and stuff, but they're like very mid defense. And if their offense can't get healthy, I really am worried about them kind of falling off and just having too many problems to deal with. But we're playing the Saints, so like they probably should still win, like regardless.
This is my upset pick of the week. I'm picking the Saints.
You're picking the Saints, but that's
I'm picking the Saints
like
to win.
they could do it.
I'm picking the Saints to win. I think the Bucs. I saw some stuff in that Detroit game that worried me a little bit. Not necessarily defensively, more offensively. And they were in such this crazy rhythm. But remember, with the Bucs guys, they've been pulling games out of a hat most of the year. They haven't really been taking care of anybody, and they got taken care of in the Detroit game. I think they're destined to lose a close game. And a close game that they should win. And I feel like this might be the game that comes back to get them. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be bad the rest of the year or they're not going to win the division. I just think the Saints are kind of due for some good luck. The Bucs are kind of due to like lose a close game. It's in New Orleans. I like what Kellen Moore has been doing. And I feel like, honestly, Dave, in that Bears game, if the Saints didn't have all those turnovers, they could have put up almost 30 points on you guys, right? So, like, and the Bucs defense is not good. Let's just be honest. They've got some players there, but I have a sneaky suspicion the Saints score a decent amount of points on the Buccaneers and end up winning this game. So this is my upset of the week.
Oh yeah, I like that. Olave and Shaheed, they can get some yak in this game.
Yeah, I think so.
They're very explosive potential.
Use that turf, baby. All right, so let's move on to, I think, if the Titans won this game, I think everyone would be incredibly shocked. I think, honestly, if like the Browns beat the Chiefs, it would be less shocking than if the Titans beat the Colts right now. Do you know what I mean?
This is a 14.5 point spread, my friend.
Yeah. Is this the biggest spread of the weekend? Is
Yes.
it the biggest? Yeah. Okay. I would say so, because the Titans just don't know what they're doing, and the Colts look like an unstoppable force. So my question is, how do the Titans win this game by 4? Because that's what's bound to happen in the NFL this week.
What they have to do is like call the FBI and say every game in the NFL is rigged, and then cancel the whole NFL schedule. That's the only chance the Titans have of now.
Dude, seriously.
They get in the phone and be like, everyone's cheating. The refs, it's a scandal. NFL's canceled. Like the Colts have the #1 offense in the league. Like in yards per play.
Historic. Their offense
they are better than the Cowboys offense.
Yeah. No, the Colts offense is historically efficient, guys. Think about that. Daniel Jones is leading an offense that efficiency and scoring wise was better than any offense run by Dan Marino or Aaron Rodgers or Kurt Warner or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. You know what I mean?
It's not just #1. It's #1 here, a big gap, and then the Cowboys and everyone else.
This is what I'm saying. And now we're only through 7 weeks. Okay. But, we all say maybe that's not sustainable. But to even be like through 7 weeks and have those kind of statistics is insane. It's insane how good this offense has been. Nobody's seen it coming. I think it continues. I think the Colts whomp them, but it is a division game. Weird stuff.
Dave really likes this narrative a lot.
Dave loves the Colts narrative.
Nobody saw this coming. Nobody whatsoever.
Dave was calling it. Yeah,
Dave,
big flex.
I'm on the bandwagon.
I'll be wrong for the next 10 years of my life,
No,
but I'm going to hold
I
on to this one.
refused to admit the Colts were good for 3 weeks, and then by week 4, I was like, "Damn, they're amazing."
I'm
So,
so
like,
much
yeah, it's
telling
we all.
this is my parade tour of ever telling everyone that Dave was correct. Daniel Jones should be the leader for MVP right now. They're literally had a historic level offense on a team that was terrible last year. Like, how is that not like literally
Their offense was good. They just didn't have anyone to run it.
Yeah, and Jonathan
But
Taylor.
it doesn't matter what actually happened. Perceptual
Jonathan
wise,
Taylor is pretty fantastic too.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL, folks. Saquon had his moment in the spotlight. It's back to Jonathan Taylor time. JTT, Jonathan Taylor time, not Jonathan Taylor Thomas. All right, let's move on. Cowboys at Broncos. So we've got the two guys that wear tight pants and Brokeback Mountain each other. So what are they going to do in this game? Cowboys and Broncos. What are they going to do? I feel like the Cowboys should go in and do what the Cowboys do, even against the Broncos defense. I mean, this is why this game's intriguing, because the Cowboys offense seems like an unstoppable force. The Broncos defense seems really good, but I don't know. The Giants, despite some luck, they had some luck. The Giants were moving the ball on them through the air and running the ball. So do the Cowboys come and take this game, or do the Broncos take that big win over the Giants and use it as like, a fulcrum into becoming a great defense again? Doug, you're in Denver. What are they saying there?
So everyone here is freaking out. They're calling Bo Nix Tim Tebow Part 2, and their names even rhyme, like Bo and Tebow. Maybe he's the reincarnation of Tim Tebow.
They should really stop that. Tebow was not good.
No,
yeah, but it's not right. Bo Nix is probably a better quarterback.
Bo's not great either, but he's definitely better than Tebow.
Sure, but like he does exactly what Tebow does. They play kind of meandering and not very good, and then at the end of the game, he tries to do some miracle stuff and runs around and scrambles. It's pretty much what Tebow did in a sense, right? I mean, literally, that's what all the Denver radio is saying this because they saw Tebow play, and
they're not talking about Javonte Williams this week.
What?
They're not talking about Javonte Williams this week. He was their next guy up for 4 years. He is going to be their stud running back. He floundered, and then all of a sudden he goes to Dallas, and he looks like he's a big swinging.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Denver
that the Broncos won't be able to get away with that against the Cowboys, I don't think. I think the Cowboys have a quick enough, fast offense with, a running game now that I would, if I was the Broncos, I would I think the Cowboys could easily win this game.
Yeah.
And one of the really interesting things, granted, they got 9 sacks in 1 week against Justin Fields. Thank you. That weighs everything heavily. But right now they are on a historic pace for sacks. Like they'd break the all-time sack for a season. So they have a very effective pass rush. It'll be really fun to see how they're able to do against Dak. Now, one of the nice things that the Cowboys have is Cooper Beebe is going to be back in at guard. He'd been out for a while. So if you can get a stronger offensive line, it's going to be strength on strength. And I really love to see, what CD is going to be able to do over the middle, all of the short stuff. And I don't think that the Broncos have faced an offense like this year. The Cowboys, they're like you said, the way that the Colts operate, they're the most efficient. They're a fantastic offense, everything else. But the Cowboys are a completely different monster altogether. They're very unique because Dak is the veteran quarterback. He knows where to throw to, and he has perfect weapons everywhere. Not just like great weapons, they're elite.
And you can run on the Cowboys.
I'm
sorry, the Broncos. You can run on the Broncos. The Broncos' run defense was kind of good, and now it's not. Like they're kind of getting blocked around a lot. Like that's why the Colts beat them. The Colts could just run block them all day long and block them into oblivion.
So the Cowboys' offense, to me, is probably the most elite at every level. And what I mean by that is the Cowboys can attack you at any part of the field on offense, and they're elite. They're elite at tight end. They're elite at wide receiver 2. They're elite at wide receiver 1. And Dak is elite at reading the defense and getting rid of the ball quickly when he has to. Like they literally attack every single square inch of the field on offense. They are good at every single square inch of offense. And that's why no team has really been able to stop them. The only team that stopped the Cowboys is kind of the Cowboys with their turnovers or their defense, right? Like their offense is very, very good. And their field goal kicker can kick it from 70 yards.
He can just
So,
kick
like,
field goals every
they're going to
drive.
get points. So if this is a low scoring game, even I still pick the Cowboys because I think special teams wise, they're better. And I think Dak as the veteran quarterback is just better. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys, after what I saw from the Broncos, even though they had that miraculous win, after what I saw from the Broncos defense in that game, I'm not that impressed right now. And I think Dak's going to take it to him a little bit.
It is in Denver. The Broncos are at home, so that gives them, they play better at home.
Well, the last game was at home. The Giants were in Denver.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm just saying that because they kind of have a hated rivalry with the Cowboys, they kind of hate the Cowboys in a way, even though they play in different divisions and conferences.
Well,
there is a big rivalry there.
Everybody
to be fair,
hates the
everyone
Cowboys.
hates the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
But they don't
everybody
have
hates them.
nearby teams to hate, so that's kind of the closest.
Yeah,
team they
I
have
mean,
to
he's
it.
kind of right. Here in the Southwest, it was the Broncos and the Cowboys for the longest time because
Yeah.
there's this big gap in, Vegas and
So there is a
New
rivalry
Mexico,
there.
and even Arizona, where like those were the two teams in the region. So they do have
I
a
hear
bit
people
of a,
saying F the Cowboys constantly in Denver.
Yeah.
Like they definitely have like a rivalry.
yeah.
going
I
on.
don't know if that's between the franchises. I think that's more between the fans,
The
just
fans,
because
yeah.
they're all Brokeback Mountain fans. So
Now, one of the things that really hurts the Broncos is, admittedly their defenses look good. They haven't had them all season, but this would have been the time that you wanted to get Dre Greenlaw back. Last week was the first game he was back. He spent the first 6 weeks on IR, and what did he do? He after the game against the Giants last week, he threatened referee Brad Allen, and so he got suspended this week. Dre Greenlaw, all pro. He's a guy who you need for the big time games like this. This is why you signed with the money. This everything else, and he does a bonehead thing like that. So, the defense had been fine without him, but this is a week that you need it. And every little in a matchup like this, every little inch counts, and I think that's a pretty significant inch. So I think Dak's going to be able to come out on top, but Bo's going to get more fantasy point, bitches.
yeah,
Maybe. I don't know about that.
a pretty significant.
The Dallas defense is weak. It's going to be a lot of zone. The nice thing is that Bo's college teammate out there, he's fantastic as a zone buster. If he knows where it's covered to, he'll be fine. Because I'm starting the top two Broncos wide receivers this week. So I need
Bo
it to
is
happen.
not a good
By
thrower
Mageddon.
of the football. He's
not.
bad at throwing it. So
He's efficient at finding open receivers, but
he can throw little
Yes.
short passes.
hitting all of his open receivers is a bit more of a problem. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So-
No, I'm not telling you as an opinion. I'm saying they literally had a reporter go around and ask all the defensive coordinators that played against Bo, and all of them said they're like, he is not good at throwing beyond like short passes. All of them did. So like,
yeah, his metrics, anything beyond 20 yards is not good, and even in college. And that's where Troy Franklin, he helped him out a lot because Franklin was able to find those gaps in zones, right around 15 to 18 yards, so it's not too far deep. But yeah, as far as like a lot of the stuff that unlocks a lot of elite wide receivers is they can do slants, crossers over the middle. He can't lead in crossers over the middle. He doesn't have that accuracy, unfortunately. But that's why, like Franklin, he'll just find a nice little pocket about 15 yards deep and just keep hitting that against Eberflus's cover too. I'm praying, but yeah, I still like Dallas to win the game. It'll be close.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, but yeah, I'm saying 28-20 Dallas, 28-20. No, who am I kidding? Dallas's defense is terrible. 28-27.
20-27 Dallas because of a long 70-yard field goal.
Yes. He'll
This
get
is the
5.
week we see the record broken.
Yeah, dude, and in Denver, where the air is
Oh
thin,
yeah.
I'd let Aubrey try an 80-yarder just to see what happens.
Why not?
Just to see
it's
if
not
he
windy
could do
out.
it. I think he could do it. I think he could hit an 80-yarder.
Or if it's
in
windy
Denver.
and the wind's going the right way to go hit his back.
Let him do it just to see. Because guess what? Like the Packers set a field goal record. A bunch of other franchises have set their long record with these balls this year. Like, again, I'm for it. This is exciting. But Brandon Aubrey just try an 82-yarder just to say, yep, all you guys sit down.
Even in pregame warmups, if I was the Broncos, I'd be like, no, please, we just want to see you try this.
Yeah.
Try it.
We'll set apart that part of the field just to see why not.
Dude, literally put it on your own 35 and just kick it from there. And I bet he makes it. I bet he makes it. So, all right. Now we're going to go to the Packer game later. So let's get to Washington, Kansas City. Is this even worth talking about? The Commanders didn't look great last week. Kansas City looks unstoppable. It's at home. If Kansas City doesn't win by 2 scores, I'll be shocked.
And isn't Daniels hurt again?
Yeah. Daniels is, well, yeah. I don't know if he's going to play.
Mariota's playing, I think, again.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Chiefs by 30.
By 37 points.
Yeah, if Mariota's playing, they're toast. They're such toast. So.
But the Scary Terry's back, and I'm going to put him in my fantasy lineup.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So before we get to Packer Bear talk, let's actually get to the next thing we were going to discuss. We're going to talk about the next coach on the chopping block. Now, I've been talking crap about Daboll all year, saying that he was going to be toast. And I thought I was wrong until last week. I think that game in Denver may have really set the stage. And I think if he goes and gets whopped by Philadelphia and then loses a couple more, he's still going to be out. I actually predicted him to get fired by the San Francisco game, which I believe is next weekend. So I could still be right. But we got Daboll on the chopping block. We've got McDaniel on the chopping block for Miami. Is there any other coach that you guys think is actually on the chopping block right now for this season?
I'm actually bringing up the NFL or the odds right now.
For coaching firings? Nice.
Oh, it just got stuck. Hold on. Let's see. What are the odds for coaching? Okay, so this one has Zach Taylor up there and Gannon ahead of Daboll, but the other one I saw okay. So both sites I looked at have McDaniels and Aaron Glenn right behind him, right? With a little bit of a gap there. McDaniels is like 2 levels above Aaron Glenn. The other site had Daboll after Glenn. This one has Zach Taylor and Jonathan Gannon from the Cardinals before Daboll.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with Jonathan Gannon thing. I think if I'm the owner of the Cardinals, watching how they're playing, realizing that Kyler's the problem, if I give Gannon 2 more years, get him a decent quarterback, and he sucks, then I'll fire him. But I want to get him a good quarterback because I like what Gannon's doing in Arizona.
They're still fighting every play. The
Absolutely, and their run game has been fantastic since he got there, remember? And their defense hasn't been bad considering that they don't have any pass rushers and they just got a cornerback. But other than like their safeties, they really haven't had many great defensive players either. So
they've only had Buddha in the secondary for the last
just
4
Buddha,
years.
really, right? And I think Gannon is safe. I think if the Cardinals are smart, which that's not a guarantee, I think Gannon is safe at least for another year, but we'll see. You know who's interesting though? Zach Taylor. Okay.
I was thinking about him earlier without even reading anything.
But Flacco could save his job.
Yeah. And I was going to say, even if the Bengals are bad I think it would just be fatigue.
Bengals keep winning games?
I think it could be fatigue, though, because the Bengals, just remember this. The Bengals went to a Super Bowl with Zach Taylor.
Right.
What have they done since? They haven't even made the playoffs. Do you know? So,
if I'm the ownership, I'm looking at defense sucks. Special team sucks every year with him. The only thing that's carried them is their quarterback and the wide receiver Yeah. And they got that quarterback wide receiver combination. They got those 2 in together. So you just had those 3 guys. They've been carrying the franchise, not even the team. They've been carrying the entire franchise.
What do you think their next coach is? Bill Belichick?
Oh, don't even. But so Zach Taylor loses the Super Bowl. He loses in the division round to the Chiefs, and then he misses the playoffs 2 years in a row. And yes, I realize Burrow's hurt, but also Burrow and Chase and Higgins are all better than they were 4 years ago. What else on that team is better?
No.
What else did he make
Trey
better? Is my question. I mean, but that's more. I don't know. I think there's fatigue. I think there's fatigue around Zach Taylor and thinking it's just going to continue to get worse. It's not going to get better. So I absolutely think he's on the chopping block if they miss the playoffs again, even if they're in games and they look good. I think it might just be fatigue. And there's another guy that I'm throwing out there that also could get fired for fatigue, not because he's a terrible coach, but because they just don't see him going to the next level. And that's Sean McDermott with the Buffalo Bills. No, not LaFleur. LaFleur is not on the chopping block. No, he is not. I will talk shit about Matt LaFleur until the day I die, but I'm not.
You want me to keep his name out of my mouth?
Well, yeah, I'm not calling for Matt LaFleur's head, though. I still think he's a very good coach. And I think Matt LaFleur, I've said this before, he reminds me a little bit of Andy Reid. where when Andy Reid went to Philadelphia, they were pretty much instantly good. And they were good enough to like get to NFC championship games and then get whooped. And they eventually got to a Super Bowl and got whooped, right? But he was always really good, and he eventually figured it out and got there.
Has
And I
Frenchie
think
made it to many NFC championship games.
3.
He did make it to 3. Okay.
Yeah, 3. Dave, don't bring those up. Come on. But I think Sean McDermott with Buffalo, just looking how their defense is, because he's a defensive coordinator, guys. He's not an offensive guy. He's a defensive guy, right? And their defense has gotten steadily worse the last couple of years. It's let them down in the playoffs. And if you think about this, in all those Chiefs-Bills games that the Bills barely lost, the Bills put up almost 30 points in every single one of those games. They've never been able to stop the Chiefs. And that's what McDermott is supposed to, be able to figure out, because he's a defensive guy. So I feel like even if the Bills get in the playoffs this year, if they're like one and done, or if they lose in the second round to the Chiefs again, you might just have to cut bait on McDermott and say, we got to try somebody else because this guy can't get it done, you know? So that's the long game. I'm just saying, when we're talking about Zach Taylor fatigue, I think Sean McDermott might be on the chopping block. All right, who else we got? Who else is out there, guys?
Just Stefanski from the Browns.
Stefanski?
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he's a decent coach. They're just terrible. Do we think he deserves to be fired? I don't know.
I mean, it's Browns, you know what I mean? It's just a weird situation, but that could happen.
I don't know.
The owner kind of forced him into that weird situation.
Yeah.
That's the tough part, because a lot of people had a lot of I think he was like a 2-time coach of the year.
Yes. And he's been a good coach.
He was able to run that offense. They were able to build a decent offensive line with Joe Thomas. Respect, Wisconsin Badger.
Yep.
But yeah, so he usually had a solid run game. It just they handed them a bag of whatever.
You're the Browns. You don't have a good quarterback. You don't really have a lot of weapons on offense. You have a decent offensive line and a very good defense. Like, what coach is going to come in and make you better is my question. Better than Stefanski. You're the Browns. People don't want your job. Like, I hate to be a hater, but like, nobody wants your job. That's a great coach. Stefanski is a good coach. Keep him for another year or two. Get some stability. If you get a decent quarterback, you will be a good team. So I think Stefanski, if the Browns are smart, again, that's a lot to assume. If the Browns are smart, they give him some time and a decent quarterback, because no coach is coming into the Browns and turning this around right now. I just don't see it.
No, yeah,
he is a long shot in this things, but also the Carolina's head coach is listed on here, and then Gannon on this site, but they're all like long shots. They're not.
Yeah.
I think they're long shots because Canales. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Canales is up there because of last year, but we called it. Their whole defense was terrible because, you know, they just were bad and they were missing guys, and I thought he would turn it around. And already, I would say Canales has already secured his job this year just by the way they're playing now. You can see
they're
what he's
already 4-3.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a good coach. It's pretty obvious he's a good coach, and I think he's more than secure unless they leave.
He was the person who resurrected Geno Smith's career. And
yeah, go ahead.
Did the Panthers trade for Geno Smith as a backup, Dave? Just saying. Because it seems like Geno just goes back to everybody that was in Seattle with him at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Pete Carroll and everything. Right. But so I don't believe in Dave Canales. I don't think Dave Canales is anywhere near getting fired.
No.
I think, honestly, I hate to say it because he's my favorite guy to listen to, but I think Mike McDaniels is the first to go. I'm surprised he still has a job. I think if they lose and get blown out this week, he's done.
I think they're just trying to save money and like hope that he quits or something, or I don't know what it is.
He's not going to quit.
No, he's not, but I don't know.
But I think he's lost it. I think it's pretty apparent. Like, the team is just, it's done. It's over. So
they got to figure out their identity direction to go in, and maybe they just don't have one.
Yeah, they got to start all over. They got to start all over. I hate to say it, but their roster is interesting. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah, the interesting thing is when I look at all of the teams and where I look at the coaches and where they are, you know, first year, second year, whatnot, I really think that's really only 3 guys that should lose their jobs this season. We already had one loss in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Then we talked about, you know, the others is, you know, the Dolphins, that's toast. Because the Bills, you know, in the postseason, the fans are going to call for it because they've been honestly calling it for it the last 3-4 years.
I'd say 2 years.
They're like, this formula isn't really working.
Yep.
New England, Jets, they're set. Ravens, they're 1-5, maybe 1-6, but I think Harbaugh's got enough credit to where he doesn't have to worry about it. That's
I
a
don't know,
stable
dude.
organization.
A lot of the Ravens,
When everybody's hurt, dude.
I know. But a lot of the Ravens fan, dude, it's fatigue. It's the AFC. It's the Andy Reid effect because the Chiefs have just been unstoppable in the playoffs, right? For the last 6-7 years, other than the year the Bengals went, that all these good coaches like McDermott, like Harbaugh, I don't know if you'd call Zach Taylor a good coach, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's fatigue. Who could take out Andy Reid and the Chiefs, right? Who could take out Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Like there is legitimate fatigue. And I think Harbaugh's on the chopping block. And I think if Harbaugh gets fired by the Ravens, which I don't think is likely, I still think it's less than half, 50% chance. I think if that happens, every team that has a coach that hasn't won a Super Bowl should call him because I think he is a fantastic coach. He is a fantastic coach, but sometimes teams just want to change. Dude, you know who'd work really good in Buffalo?
This is the ownership for the Ravens. I don't think that they'll be that crazy.
No, they're a lot more reserved and smart, which is why they're a good franchise and they're always good because they don't make stupid decisions. So, but I don't know. A lot of Ravens fans want them out. And I can understand why to a point, like when McCarthy. Okay, so when McCarthy got fired from the Packers, first of all, I'd been saying he should have been fired 2 years before that.
Yeah.
And then even when he got fired, people were like, how do you fire Mike McCarthy? He won a Super Bowl. And it's like, yeah, but his team's progressively getting worse. There's part of Harbaugh's Ravens that seems to be getting worse in the playoffs, not necessarily regular season. I know they're having an injury issue right now, Dave, but in the playoffs, they seem to be getting farther away. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, I think there's a chance that the ownership of the Ravens sees that and they're fatigued from his playoffs, not necessarily his regular season success. So I think that's definitely a possibility, but I'd still put it at like 30%. I'd say possible, right? At least right now. Who else in the AFC? Let's see. New England, we know is set for a while. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh no, I'm just going to go through all the teams. So that's
Ravens, Pete Carroll's done.
Yeah, Carroll. Do you think? But they brought him in. He's just going to be a one and done. They're not going to fire him mid-season.
No, they're not going to fire him. He's going to do the whole season, and then they'll can him.
Yeah, he's one and done. Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, they're all solid. Titans already took care of. Jags, Colts, Texans, all safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. So that's the AFC. So really not that much for turnover.
How is Pete Carroll not on any of these odds lists? Like Vegas?
I think it's because they know they're going to keep him the whole season. Just because, like he's like an interim anyway. Like I think everybody knew it was going to be like a 1-year thing.
Oh yeah,
try
1 or 2 year project at most.
Yeah, maybe 2 if he was good this year, but he hasn't been. So they'll let him play out the year and then fire him. Yeah, because also the Raiders are still paying John Gruden, guys. They're still paying what's his nuts in New England or whatever, the often Josh McDaniels, right? They're still paying all these coaching contracts. Like they're not going to be paying like another coach in contract to fire him.
Fire a new coach every year.
No,
they just owe him tons of money.
Everybody knows. So everyone knows Pete Carroll is safe until week 17, right? Week 18. Okay, so NFC, I mean McVay, Shanahan guaranteed. McDaniels.
Oh no, just go by division in order. So Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders.
All safe.
We said Giants.
Oh, Daboll. Sorry. Yeah, Daboll.
Yeah, Daboll. But otherwise, Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, they're safe.
Yep.
The North, I think they're all safe. We don't even have to go through the list. Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers, safe, I believe.
I would say all safe, yeah.
And then, Cardinals, Rams, Niners, Seahawks.
I should say they should all be safe too. Should be.
So this is going to be a year where we're not going to see that much turnover because I think historically it's like 25% of teams change their head coach, but this year is going to be an outlier just because of where we are.
Oh, I disagree. It's always 5 or 6, Dave. It's just the ones you don't expect. So, okay, Pete Carroll's a guarantee, just not now, but at the end of the year, right? He's a guarantee. Yep. Titans already did it, so that's 2. We already know Mike McDaniel, my homeboy, is not going to make it. That's 3, right? There's a very solid chance that Daboll's done. I'd say almost guaranteed. I'd say there's like a 90% chance he doesn't make it. So that's 4. So we're only looking for 2 more. And if McDermott or Harbaugh or Zach Taylor like have a stinker in the playoffs or don't make the playoffs, I could definitely see 1 or 2 of them going. So I'd say there'd be at least 5, maybe 6 coaches fired this year, which is close to the average. It's pretty close. It's like 6 or 7 every year, right?
The
Isn't
record
it?
is 10 in 1 year in 2021.
Okay, 10. Yeah. But it's usually like between 4 and 7, I would say, every
Sure.
year, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'd
No,
say
but yeah, I'm
Go ahead.
leaning more for the Bengals to fire their coach than
yeah.
Harbaugh.
You think Taylor?
I understand the fatigue, but
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we're on a different side of the things here, but like I got Mike McCarthy fatigue way earlier than everybody else, right? But I think it was the
No,
right decision,
I had
even
it
though
before you.
well,
I'm
okay,
a closet Packer fan. My
a
dad
different
was
type.
Packer fan.
Not the
I
type
wanted
where
my dad
he's
to be happy.
on a poster in your room, David. No, not that type of fatigue. But I'm just saying, like, I think it was the right decision to let him go, even though he went to Dallas and did well. We let him go because he couldn't take the next step, which was proven in Dallas, right? That was absolutely concretely proven. He could not take the next step. And I feel like McDermott is in that same boat. And McDermott hasn't even won a Super Bowl. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, I really have a bad feeling, or maybe, I don't know, good. I don't wish ill will on anyone, but I'm just saying I have a pretty solid feeling that if McDermott doesn't beat the Chiefs or loses a heartbreaker in the playoffs, he's toast. He's done this year. I can just see it because the Bills need to win. They are ready to win right now. They got their new stadium coming up, guys. So, like, if they have another stinker in the playoffs or another heartbreaker,
And they
in the
probably are
playoffs,
thinking like, hey, we only have so long with Josh Allen while he's super
Yes.
good.
yes, you
And the
have
hell of it
to.
is,
Go ahead.
when I look at the Chiefs, now that they have Bryce, and I really think they're just going to ramp back up for the next 4 years.
I know.
I
and
hate to
that's
say it.
great.
I really do. Without a rushing attack.
Well, no, I think their defense is going to take a step back. Now, to be clear, the last 2 times they were in the Super Bowl was because of their defense. And then Patrick Mahomes made plays when he had to, right? Though he did have a good playoff game last year where they scored like 27. I don't know if the Chiefs defense is going to stay the same because they just got so many studs on that defense. Luckily, like later in the draft, that's so hard to repeat over and over and
I
over.
think Spags is a good coach, though.
Oh yeah, he is a good coach. I agree, but the type of defense they've been playing requires like really high end talent, some of which is gone, some of which is getting a little older. Some of which they replaced through the draft extremely well, and it's just hard to continue to do that. The fact that they've done it for 6 years, let's be honest, is unbelievable in itself, right? So, not that it can't be done. I mean, the Patriots did it for 20 years. But, Belichick was a different kind of animal and he cheated. So, that helped too. So, all right, dude, it's been a long time. We got to talk about the Packers and Bears game. My goodness. Okay. Packers and Bears. Okay. Aaron Rodgers runs off of spite. We all know it, right? But Aaron Rodgers says he doesn't hate the Packers. Now, is he messing with me right now?
I think what he's saying is that his spite internally is his hate engine diverted his attention towards other things. He kind of slowly he pointed his lighthouse light away from the Packers, but it could easily go right back to them.
Interesting.
He
You know what I mean?
lived with the Jets for 2 years. If that does not give a 40-year-old man perspective, I don't know.
yeah. His
He could have been all pissed off before he went to the Jets. He said, "Fine, I'm taking my bag. I'm going to kick your ass." And then he went and saw how bad it could be. He's just like, "Cool,
yeah,
Dad really ain't that bad. My stepdad totaled it."
We could. So the last time I left, I said some things. You said some things. Let's just.
Pretty much.
But also,
yeah.
The sneaky kind of guy like he is, or he thinks he's smarter than everyone. It's his way to be cool with everybody, and so that he can get more jabs in there later too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he never
Also
wants
true.
to be hated. He always wants to be not necessarily loved, but at least appreciated.
Or respected, maybe. I don't know.
He needs to defeat him somehow. He wants to go back to Lambeau, and he wants people to like him.
Well, I will say this about Aaron Rodgers this year. He's been very un-Aaron Rodgery of the last 4 years. He seems different, right? Yeah. And I think that's shown up on the football field. I think he's playing more free and having more fun. And I think he's slinging it like he used to and being less cautious. And
he's also playing more efficient and just hitting open receivers as opposed to how he used to just
I think some of the stress that he puts on himself to be perfect all the time, because let's be honest, I think he does do that, and that's what's made him so good. I think he's taken a little bit of that off and maybe just had a mental change to where he's just playing so much better than I expected him to, and then he has for the last 3+ years. Let's be honest. His last year in Green Bay, and he was injured for a year with the Jets, but even his first plus year with the Jets, he was not playing like this. Not even close to this.
The end of last year, he was playing better. Like he
True.
made a big improvement, but he's got a little bit better this year too.
But that also kind of played in the narrative where there was no pressure and the Jets were already out of the playoffs. And we were all saying, Rodgers is not great under pressure. Well, there is pressure right now to be good and, to win games with the Steelers, but he still seems to be kind of chill and saying the right things mostly and doing the right things. So
I think Steelers kind of pulling under the radar too, because the expectations weren't high this year, right? So it's just overall less stress.
I mean, expectations are to make the playoffs, which they've won enough games to be on that trajectory, right? So I think that's
but I think the big attitude was like, hey, if Aaron Rodgers is just decent, we'll be happy,
So all right, let's bring this up before we actually get to the game. If Aaron Rodgers plays next year, do you think he will play for the Minnesota Vikings?
It's the greatest question of the year because the Vikings are going to want him likely. If JJ McCarthy can't do much, and that's the thing is all the Vikings fans are talking about, like, imagine if we actually got Rodgers when he left the Packers and, he didn't get injured.
They're all talking about it. What if we held on to Darnold? They don't care about Rodgers.
Yeah.
They just had Darnold.
Well, again,
but now they want him now.
Well, we talked about this. They had
now they'd be more than happy to take Rodgers, yes.
But they had to see what JJ McCarthy was. They spent a number 10 overall pick on him. They have to play him. Do you understand?
They're going to play
Sam
him now.
Darnold was never going to happen after they selected JJ McCarthy, and we all know that. Now, that being said, if JJ McCarthy is a total bust, which looks like so far, we don't know yet. Or he's, got all these injuries, bringing in Rodgers for a year and just saying, hey, JJ, you got some stuff to work on. We're going to sit you one more year. And again, Love sat for 3 years.
Maybe even draft another quarterback if they're not sure in JJ.
I think it's possible, but why would Pittsburgh not re-sign him unless they draft a quarterback?
The thing is that they're going to try, because of this idea, they might race to re-sign Rodgers as fast as possible. They might want, like this week, they might just be like, we want you for next year.
Rodgers won't do that.
They're already talking about this last week.
Yeah, Rodgers is not going to do that.
They want to bring in as many free agents as they can to give Aaron the best chance possible this postseason, and they want him to play next year. They've already came out and said that this past week.
And Rodgers will decide who he's playing for in August, like he did this year or July, because he's not going to make up his mind now.
But my point is, because of how well he's playing right now, like the Steelers are probably thinking, hey, we really need to re-sign him. Like, really go after it.
They can think that all they want. He's got plenty of money. He does not have to play. He will not sign a contract until next summer. I guarantee you that, because he wants to see what he wants to do with his life.
So what are the conditions you guys think he'll go back to the Steelers versus the Vikings, right? The Steelers, if they play well the rest of the season and they have like a shot in the playoffs to do something, maybe he'll keep him around.
I think the criteria for him to play again next year is for him to really believe the Steelers can win a Super Bowl. Like, get close, like get to maybe the AFC Championship game or maybe the division game and just barely miss out, right? Like, I think if that happens, he'll consider it.
And they could get him another weapon for next year, like another decent wide receiver maybe or something, so he doesn't just have like one known guy.
Right, that's also possible, right? But yeah, I think a long playoff run is.
Do you think this will make him want to keep playing forever? He'll just keep playing for the Steelers for like 3 or 4 more years.
I think we're at the point where one more year.
Yeah. I know, dude, with his, he got newly married. He's got a different perspective on life. He is having fun again. But I think Rodgers wants to walk away without a bad taste in his mouth. As much as he can be petty, as much as he can be spiteful, as much as he can be a little bee, like, he is kind of a fun, happy guy at times. I think inside of himself, he'd rather be that guy. So I think he'd rather walk away feeling good about football. So I don't know. There's a part of me that tells myself, if he has a fun, good season with the Steelers, he might just say, that was good for me. Like, I'm good now. I had a good end.
Then
but what does he love more than anything?
Bouquet of flowers. Because honestly, the way he is now, it's completely different than what he's been the last 4 years.
It really does seem like
he's not the same. And maybe maybe she did change it. He almost seems like a likable guy. He's not the same.
This is the thing.
I
don't think you guys are right at all. I think he's exactly the same guy. It's just that he's with the Steelers and the Steelers love him. Like him and Tom, the Steelers and Tomlin tell him how great he is all day. So he feels like validated, and then he's like okay with the
The
world.
Jets were rubbing him off every 5 seconds. What are you talking about? Like the Jets
Robert Saleh
overdid
got
it.
fired because he wasn't being head coach. He was being
Yeah,
doing
when
whatever
Rodgers
told him
first
to.
got to the Jets, it was great. But when they started like losing and having problems,
Now,
then that's when
that's the
problem
question.
started.
If the Steelers start having a losing streak, what kind of Aaron comes out?
That's why I'm saying. But if
Yes.
they keep winning and playing at
Yes.
least decent, and Tomlin keeps like, because it's different than the Jets saying you're great. The Pittsburghs are like a legendary franchise. Mike
Right.
Tomlin, he loves to death and is his best buddy. And if he gets that love from them, it's gonna make him feel like wanted and want to come back and play more, I think.
Yeah, I still have to see what they do in the playoffs before I even consider thinking he'll come back. I think right now I would lean toward retirement because I don't think they're winning a playoff game. But if they do win 1 or 2 playoff games, then I could see him coming back. So,
Because
okay.
It's an old defense. I don't see them. I see them breaking down before then.
Yeah.
We already saw what Ramsey getting toasted by an
Yeah.
young White.
but it
But
also
I don't see them
fuels
getting
Rodgers'
one win.
ego. Because
I'd
Rodgers
love
is
to
like,
see him go to Minnesota just for the storyline. Honestly,
I know
I'd
you
love
would,
to
Dave.
see
but
what he
screw
can do
that.
with Justin Jefferson.
No, like he
Addison.
does not need to pull the exact Aaron Rodgers trajectory with one stop in
No,
Pittsburgh.
no, he
Brett
doesn't
Favre?
have to.
No, he does
I-
not need to do that. And I don't think, this is the other thing too, is like, I don't think he in his heart would say, oh, going to Minnesota is that much better of a chance than playing in Pittsburgh, right? I don't think right now he's like, I have to win a Super Bowl. I don't think that's where his mentality is.
it would have.
But-
What if the Pittsburgh drafts like a really top wide receiver and or
How long
quarterback,
does it
and
take
then
to
Rodgers
get a wide
just
receiver into form for the NFL?
Dude, Rodgers hates throwing to rookies, man.
2 years. Yeah,
no quarterback.
doesn't trust them.
If
They don't
if
know
the
what they're doing.
Steelers, if Rodgers feels slighted in any ways, like he would have to feel slighted to go from the Steelers to the Vikings.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
agree with that. He would have to and he loves Tomlin. Again, I just don't see that as a possibility. Okay, but we've been talking about Aaron in that sense. Let's talk about him in this sense. Does he have a 90% completion rate against the Packers this week? Because I'm a little worried that he might.
It'll be
Because-
like 80.
Dude, because what we've been doing, what I said against the Cardinals, what I said against when we played Joe Flacco and the Bengals, and we saw Dak do it to us, the Packers defense has been figured out in the sense that we'll sit back, we'll put our linebackers back 7 yards, and you can just throw 3, 4, 5, 6-yard passes all day. Jacoby Brissett had 14 completions in a row. I mean, Rodgers is one of the smartest players to ever play the quarterback position. That he's seen that. He knows how to attack that. Do the Packers make a change to try to stop him
They
from
have
being
to. It's going to
efficient?
be Halfley versus Rodgers chess match going on.
And I think Halfley's been losing those chess matches the last couple of weeks. And I'm not saying the defense has been playing terrible. They've actually played okay, but they're not getting turnovers. They're giving the quarterback easy reads, easy completions, keep moving the ball down the field, right? And that's what Rodgers wants to do. And he's been doing for years is I'll take 5 yards, I'll take 4 yards, I'll take 6 yards, and I want to hit 12, 13 in a row.
And he's doing it even more this year
Yes.
beyond any year.
Oh,
he's
That's what I'm
hitting the
saying. That's his
checkdowns.
dream come true. And I said Jacoby was the dump master. Well, Rodgers is the quick 4-yard pass master. He will throw a 4-yard pass and he will just audible out of everything and be like, you're going to give me 4 yards? Take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm terrified that Rodgers is going to just throw 36 passes and complete 34 in this game, right? So I don't have faith that the Packers are going to win. We haven't won in Pittsburgh since 1970, guys. And by the way, that's when the Steelers were really good. So I don't know how we won in the 70s, but we haven't won in Pittsburgh since the 70s. So man, that's a long time.
And winning against Green Bay would make them the 32nd team, right, on his hit list.
That's also true.
Oh, you're
He
right.
would then beat every team in the league.
And
It's
Tom
it's
Brady
a fun
didn't
narrative.
even-
I don't know that it really motivates him, but
Right.
it is a fun storyline to talk about.
Did Tom Brady beat all 32 teams? I think there was one team he didn't beat. Am I right about that?
No, I think he,
When he was with the Bucks,
Well, yeah. Did he beat all 32?
did.
did he beat the Pats?
I'm sure he
assuming so,
did.
because Belichick
I'm
took
sure
a
he
giant turd once Brady left.
Yes, Tom Brady beat all 32 teams, but he has a losing record against like 1 or 2 or something like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what it
that's
was.
fine.
Yeah, that's what it was. So,
And it's one of those
yeah.
where, admittedly, Rodgers is far enough along in his career that it really doesn't. I don't think he really cares. It's a fun little thing to talk about and whatnot. I
Yeah.
don't think it really drives him.
I think
But like you said, it's veteran quarterbacks with smart coaches They just do the quick short routes, move the chains, whatnot. That's been Rodgers for the last 5 years. Metcalf isn't necessarily that player, but I think Rodgers is going to be able to make it work against the Packers.
Well,
I
the
still think
Steelers
Green Bay
running game has
wins.
been pretty decent too. Like they ran all over the last couple of teams, right? So, and the Packers run defense is like third in the league or whatever right now.
Run defense has been very good. This
is the thing. Devontae Wyatt might be back for this game. He is the best player on their defense, like that we don't talk about. Like, or isn't like, he's not Micah Parsons, like where he's talked about all the time, but Devontae Wyatt's played at an all pro level this year. He has been like dominating. And when he's hurt, our defense is completely different. Like
Devontae Wyatt has been inconsistent in his time in Green Bay, but I would say as far as
this year, he's been good every single game.
Well, I would say even last year, as far as the defensive lineman goes, he's the most disruptive interior lineman we've had in an extremely long time. Because Kenny Clark held the point of attack for years, and he was really good because he held the point of attack. Devontae Wyatt blows up the point of attack at times. So, like, he is good to have around. He is definitely good to have around because if the Packers are going to have any chance in this game, A, they got to get a turnover, which Rodgers doesn't do. And B, they got to get pressure on him, not just from Micah Parsons. Somebody else has to get in there and get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, because I can tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to save his back or keep a tight end in and just say, nope, we'll just block that guy. Because if that guy is so much better than everybody else, we'll just keep an extra guy in and then I'll find someone open anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling the Steelers win this game, but it is Sunday Night Football, which is always interesting. I think it's going to be a great game, but the Packers in Pittsburgh seems tough. Go ahead, Dave.
The sticky stat is the number 2 wide receiver by yards on the season is Calvin Austin III for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
4 games played, 10 catches, 17 yards for 139 yards.
Yikes, that's awful. And
so that's where, Green Bay's weakness is their secondary. But I think that Hafley, I think he's good enough to be able to game plan around DK Metcalf. We saw in the last week where they just went with 4 tight ends a lot. They tried to run it a lot.
Yeah, Rodgers completed.
They're so desperate they were throwing it to the 300-pound Darnell Washington. He's not agile.
No, big.
So I like Green Bay's chances a lot. It's nice to see that Rodgers he'll put up some fireworks and whatnot. He'll be interesting, but I think Green Bay is going to be pulling away halfway through the third quarter.
Well, I'd love to see it because I think Jordan Love's going to have a good game. Now, this is a fun stat too, guys. I think you shared it with me earlier, Doug, or somebody did. In their first, 36 starts, Rodgers and Love have nearly identical stats as far as like touchdowns. Love actually has less interceptions, guys. Yeah, he throws a lot of interceptions. He actually has less than Aaron Rodgers, who, in his beginning of his career wasn't necessarily known for being as pragmatic, but Rodgers has 2 more touchdowns and 4 more picks than Love. Love has about the same yards per game, but a little less yards per pass. And then he actually has a better winning record than Rodgers does by 2 games. But it's very, very similar, the trajectory of their careers. So this is actually kind of cool to see them play each other. And I think Jordan Love's going to be up for it, man. I think Jordan Love's going to have a really good game. I just think that Rodgers, despite the fact that he said he doesn't have spite, he really wants to win this game. He wants to win this game. So he's going to come out slinging. All right, let's go on to the Bears. We've been talking for a long time. My throat's getting dry. We've been talking for a long time. How about them Chicago Bears, Dave? Are they going to get 4 turnovers? Bears, 16 interceptions, 42-0. Chicago Bears. Who's going to win this?
Las Vegas, they don't know what the hell they're doing. Obviously, that poor town has gone bankrupt because they're expecting the Bears to lose by 7.5, my friend, despite the fact we're playing a team who's 1-6 on the year.
With Lamar back, though. They got
Lamar back.
With Lamar back in Baltimore.
But that does make it seem like King Henry might actually be relevant again, because if you're behind the game, King Henry, he's on the sidelines because he can't catch. Which still seems asinine to me. I'm like, even if I'm behind by 10, I still want to run my battering ram in there. But yeah, it's no respect to any of the teams that the Bears already beat because they've been a bunch of stinkers, and so will the next 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's really going to be good to see Roquan see what he can do against Chicago. Like I said, I was happy when we let David Montgomery go to Detroit so we could see him have a chance to chase the ring. Same thing when we saw Roquan go to Baltimore, because I thought he had a chance to chase a ring. Unfortunately for him, the guys around him, they're hurt and whatnot, and they signed that crappy cornerback from Green Bay in the offseason. But I still think, Caleb, him against Roquan is going to be interesting. Roquan's middle linebacker. The Bears, the running game has been good. That's where Roquan's going to come in and combat that. I still 7.5 points seems like a lot. Lamar's going to be interesting. That's one of the higher projected at one of the higher scoring games. But I think it's going to be. But the Bears, they found out that we're going to be better when we run it. Not as effective with Caleb because he can't read squad. So I think, unfortunately, the Ravens are going to win. I think the Bears are going to cover the spread. But I think Caleb's going to put up another stinker, unfortunately.
Yeah, Baltimore's a hard place to play, even when their defense is bad. And Lamar is just a whole different kind of guy to game plan for. And, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. The Ravens have turned the ball over a lot this year, though. And the Bears have been getting a lot of turnovers. So there is a path to victory for the Bears. And again, it's the turnover game. If they're +4 or +3 again in turnover, they can win this game. But I don't know. Coming off a bye, the Ravens need to win this game so badly that they should go out and be up by 20 before the Bears even know what's happening, right? So I want to see how the Ravens come out. I think Lamar is going to want to play really bad, but the Ravens could also just be toast and have another stinker and just be in their own heads like they have been before the bye. So this is a big game, Dave, because if you guys win this game, like you said, your next couple games aren't that hard either. You guys could go on a significant run here like this, but you got to win this one, right? So, yeah. What were you going to say now?
And in the first 2-3 weeks when King Henry had Lamar, he had fumbling issues.
Yep.
So like you said, when we're not good at our rush defense yardage-wise, it's not good. We can be gashed, but we get those turnovers and whatnot. So that's really going to be a hell of a deciding factor, I think. What do you think, Hype?
Yeah, turnovers are big. I just looked at DVOA for the Bears, and in offense and defense, they're both ranked about number 20 in the league. So I feel like the turnovers have made their defense look a lot better than they are. But that's the thing though, you get turnovers often because you cause pressure, you cause problems. This often causes the picks and the whatever's getting the hands up. So the Bears are a scrappy defense, and if they're motivated as an underdog to beat the Ravens even at home, Lamar has not graded out that well this year since the first week of the season. So they still got to figure it out. Lamar has not impressed anyone enough to really. The Ravens are just, expectations are gone. No one expects them to even make the playoffs at this point unless they see a huge turnaround from Lamar. So just like how the Bears have had a couple games where they beat teams they weren't supposed to this year, I think this could be just like that. When they play the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, and it's a fun weakness versus weakness. The Ravens offensive line ranks 26 in run block win rate, 69%. And the Bears defensive front ranks 23rd in run stop win rate at 29%.
Yikes.
I can see a situation where the game's close and Montez Sweat makes Lamar Jackson fumble, and the Ravens' woes just continue. This season, they just can't do anything right.
It'll be fun actually to be able to say Montez Sweat's name because he hasn't done too much this year.
So to be fair to the Ravens, though, the Ravens had all these problems. They don't look great, but they've also played the Bills, the Lions, the Chiefs, and the Rams, who are, if we're being honest, probably 4 of the 5 best teams in the NFL, right? And we would consider the Ravens up there. Now, the fact that they lost to all those teams is not good, but that doesn't mean the Ravens are absolute dog water, right? They had a really stinker against the Texans, which I was like, wow, okay, so they lost to the Texans by a lot. So that to me was a one-off, but they played most of those other games close. The Chiefs game, not really, but I mean, The Bears are not any of those teams. Let's just put it that way. The Bears are not on the level of
The
the
Bears
Lions.
have looked ugly winning against ugly
Yes.
teams.
They have some pretty nice PFF ratings on defense, though. A lot of it may be because of turnovers, but Sweat's rated 75, which is pretty good.
Yeah. No, and the defense hasn't been bad. They've given up a good amount of yards, but like we were saying, they're getting teams off the field either by turnovers or other things to stop them from scoring a ton of points, which has helped the team win. Dallas game is a perfect example.
It wasn't the Raiders game the one of the few highlights for the Raiders running back, where I think he almost ran for 200 yards.
No, the Raiders literally
then.
tried to lose that game harder than I've ever seen a team try to lose a game. Well, Geno did, because he had 3 picks like in the inside of the red zone, like not in the end zone necessarily, but inside of the red zone. And it's just like, wow. So the Bears defense is good.
That was the game where everyone's like, this is why we drafted him number 6 overall. And before and since then, they're like, why did we draft him 6 overall?
Yeah. So
and now
the Bears
you go from him to King Henry, which I don't.
No, if the Bears lose this game, it's not the end of the world. It's in Baltimore, and they've got some cupcakes coming up. But this is such a must-win for Baltimore. If they lose this game, they're 100% toast. And that's nothing against the Bears. That's not shade against the Bears. They should win this game. And if they don't, then, they're absolutely done. So,
but can you give the number one reason why Colston Loveland is going to be an all-star for this game?
Because he's going to kick my ass in fantasy.